And we're back. So we had to take, you'll probably notice a little jump there because we had to take a short break.
Because somebody managed to find her way into the room and Potty could not wait any longer.
Potty could not wait anymore. All right. So we were talking. So yeah. So for every year, so this is my partially finished object. You had your partially finished object. I had my partially. You were asking about socks. So this was the socks that Nichole was asking about earlier in the show. And the reason that these are not done yet is because I have a reel planned. So it's going to be awesome. So check. I love creating reels on Instagram. They take a long time. So, but I make jokes out of things that, like, I don't know, the one where I did the one stitch wonder, that was real quick with the tuna. And then the one where I Kitchener stitched on, the top of the sock, like that was, yeah. Most of the time when I'm doing, oh my gosh, I was showing it to Tony at work, right? Because he laughs at my reels and he's not on social, so he'll ask sometimes, or I'll just tell him. A lot of times it's just me telling him, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I want to see." So, but it lagged, like right as I was about to smash the top of the sock on, like at the most, and so we're both like, "Oh," and he's like, "Man, there's so much suspense right now," like. So, anyways, so in 2000. So last year was 2022. So for 2021 for Christmas, I gotten this. So this was a collaboration between Birdie Parker Designs, which she does like knit and crochet like jewelry, because I have like a couple of her stuff, like a lot of my jewelry. So this is a watch band she made. I have some earrings. The earrings are like little crochet stitch instead of the knit stitch. She has these really cool ones that are like, they have like, it's stockinette, so it looks like stockinette and reverse stockinette, but I couldn't wear two different earrings. That would drive me insane. So anyways, so this was 250-gram. So this came together. This was a collaboration between Birdie Parker Designs and Shirley Bryan Yarn Company. So that's her little yarn label and the back there. And this is called the Deconstructed Fade Sock. And it came with an enamel like piece that had these colors in it. So this is what it looks like. And it's a little, because they sent you 250-gram skeins instead of like one. A lot of times socks come, in this big old, I know you know this, but big hunk here. And so you have to, and and I'm going to knit sock tubes. I found that I love knitting socks that way. I really like mindless knits. I like to walk and knit. I like to have something when I'm socializing, playing games and stuff like that. So this is what it looks like skeined up. And then this is what it looks like knit out. I started with the red side and it went all the way through to the thing. Now this is quite long. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to get 2 pairs of socks. I did 2 balls of this. So because I have like, one's a 12-gram ball and one's a 10-gram ball, because I didn't weigh the little mini skein before I did it. So I should have really have 11 grams on each one, but I did not. So,
right.
Oh well. But this is going to be the heels, toes, and cuffs. But I don't believe I have enough for both, because if I'm going to get 2 pairs of socks, I don't believe I'll have 2 pairs of socks worth. So I think I'm going to use this for this part, for this heels, toes, and cuffs. And this is Lola Bean Yarn Company, and it's called Soiled Myself. That's the colorway. This is a collaboration with Shelly Can, and so that was so.
Well, that's
so
a hell of a name there.
What?
The colorway.
Right? It's awesome though. So it came with another one too, and that's in my Tunisian crochet, like big cardigan sweater that I'm doing. So I'm not sure for this side what the heels, toes, and cuffs will be. I have a lot of minis, so I just probably have to pick another one out. So, but I think I may be able to get 2. At first I thought this was going to be my giant gauge swatch, because I have a pair of Chiagu needles that I bought. My first pair of Chiagu lace needles, and now I know why people love them so much. I don't think I will ever use another needle ever again. Yep.
That's
but you also you love needles, all sorts of things, and you like I don't like interchangeables. I have someone to keep. I love Lisa for you, but
but
no, these ones are not interchangeables, but you do like interchangeables. Like you knit picks and your different things. You like interchangeables. And I may not be a yarn snob, but I am a needle snob. I'm very particular about my needles. And I have found, let me tell you, I love these needles so much. And I did this. So I thought it was going to be a big gauge swatch because this is a very dense fabric. It is looser here and it is looser on the other end. So I think I'm going to have those will be the legs, you know. I thought I was going to have to, I don't know, I blocked it and it turned out really well, but it's a really dense like fabric. It's just really nice and you don't feel those pearl bumps in there at all. So it's gonna be nice and warm. And
nice.
it was tiny and I enjoyed knitting with the toothpicks because they are the same size as the toothpicks that we have. But I liked these needles so much that Ariel, if you're watching, you need to turn away because I'm going to show a little glimpse of the blanket. Not the whole thing,
Look
but
away. Look away,
look away,
Ariel.
Ariel. You have had the chance to look away. And if you look now, it's just because you want to. So how long have I been working on this? No, it's not stupid. I do not enjoy knitting blankets. I mean, I like them. They're fun and mindless, but I think they're not as portable. If blankets were more portable, I would love knitting on them.
And how are you going to fare with the temperature blanket then?
Well, because it's going to take a few minutes a day. Like this, it's not bad. By the time it gets unbearable and it's different. See, this is different than this. This is going to like crochet because you don't have all the live stitches draping down. So crochet projects aren't as bad. And once it gets to a certain point, it's not going to be moving out of the house at all. But it's really, I like to take each day about 15 minutes in the morning when I have time. I like to sit down and I like to knit or crochet a little bit on a mindless project. And that's what I plan on working on. So that's just going to sit in a basket next to my chair. And each day I'm just going to throw a square or two on as, you know, whenever I just feel like doing something mindless because I'm already 3 squares in and I've memorized the pattern. So I don't need to think about the pattern now. So this is what I wanted. So by the time I started the temperature blanket, I'm just, you know, picking the stuff out. So I was struggling with this blanket. I cast on for this before his baby shower. The baby shower is in November. I had a pair of needles that I bought these needles from Knit Pal where you got a bunch of needles for a certain price. There'll be a review coming soon. You really get what you pay for. I mean, they're not bad needles, they knit, but I didn't like them. I didn't enjoy them at all. So I switched to a different needle. And then I also had, because the pattern that I'm doing, for it to be mindless for me, I switch from knit and purls, but I have little stitch markers along the way. So I know when I need to switch and not have to count. So, so from November until, gosh, I want to say Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. No, Monday. It was Monday when today is Monday. Today is Thursday. So on Monday, that's right. So since Monday, this is how much I've done worked on this blanket. I put that, where's the stitch marker at? There it is right there. So that's how much I've worked. And this is not the only thing I've worked on. But since I've gotten the new needles, because I did some more when I switched the needles out, because the stitch markers I had, they were bulb ones and they were catching on the wood. And I was using my Addy bamboo interchangeable needles. No. And ever since I snapped that one, I don't like it. So I had Jimmy B Wool's points from when I bought the yarn for the blanket. And so I looked to see if they had Addy lace needles in size 8, and they did. And I just sat there and knit back and forth. And I did no knitting yesterday and on this. And I haven't knit on it in a couple of days. This was just basically one or two sessions sitting down and just like cranking out like, you know, a bunch of knitting at nighttime. I was knitting like 10 o'clock at night with them. And that's saying something. I don't really do anything 10 o'clock at night. But the cables are magic. When you pull them out, there's no kinks. That video that you have on YouTube, if all the needles were like Chiagu needles, you would have not had all those views. If you ever want to know how to get your needles unkinked, there's a video Nichole has on YouTube as I point my needle at you. So definitely go to the Know It All Nikki channel. So I'm loving the Chiagu needles, and that was also my partial finished object. And once we have the baby, which he is due soon, she'll be full term next week. She'll be 37 weeks, so he can go anytime after that. She's not very comfortable, but so that so my goal, I told her he can't come out yet
No,
his Mimi has not finished his blanket. It is
no.
1/3 done. I did measure it. It is exactly 1/3 done. So that's exciting. I should be able to knock this out in the evenings because this is my evening knit project. Like that's what I'm working on in nighttime. A finished object that I think I talked about, but it was fine. It was not finally, it was released. Releasing a pattern, it takes a lot of work. So
Mhm.
Fatima Hines, who is also known as Disturbing the Fleece, this is called the Big Hair Much Care hat because you can wear it. It's it's the way that it's knit. You hold two strands of fingering weight yarn together to get a DK weight yarn. And the reason that she does that is it's a denser material, so it's going to be warmer because there's going to be more air pockets. So you
Yep.
can use a DK weight yarn, but what she liked to do was this was just one skein of yarn, but she knit from the outside and the inside, like for hers. I used minis, so I used two minis held together. So I used these two minis. I believe they're all Superfine Yarn Company because I have had a really good relationship with her when Sarah, when she was in business still. So, we, so yeah, so we would do stuff and she bought my patterns and stuff. So I have 6 different colorways and I kind of faded them. And I like green.
Nice.
And so the brim is knit separately and I was going to put buttons on. Someone else made an I-cord, like kind of laced it. But when I went out one time, used I used alligator clip that was not clear, but then I have a clear alligator clip, some of those little tiny ones, and it works really well. So you can wear it you can just wear it like this. And I did chop
Oh,
off 5.5 inches of my hair, but you can wear it down. You have a ponytail or whatever. And then you can also tuck, like when my hair's in a bun, because there's enough space up here, you can stick your hair in it. And then people that have like locks or have bigger hair, like there's a lot of room in the top here. And so, but for me to close it, I was going to put buttons on, but I found that I really like wearing it. And I like to fold up the brim
Mm-hmm.
and then you can gather it in the front. I like to gather it in the back because I could just see it. It was bothering me and I kept looking up and I kept tripping. So, so I take the clear, so I get it so it's nice and snug back there. And then if I tuck my hair up into it so it gets down around my neck, and then I take the clear alligator clip and I just clip it right back there, and it's on. So I don't have to when I'm hiking and stuff. What?
Yeah, everything holds in place.
Yeah, so everything's in place. And if I put my hair up into it, it's like if you don't want hat hair, you can put all your hair up into it, have it loose in there, and clip that at the bottom there, and then pull it down. And then if you have hat hair, then you have a clip. But so she released this hat yesterday, no, Tuesday. It was Tuesday. Gosh, man, I've had it's been a busy week with the class and everything else. So, so she released the hat pattern, and then for for every pattern that she sells, $5 is going to be donated to Radical Threads, which is a new publication that is that celebrates designers and dyers and like uplifted the voices of color, the BIPOC
Nice.
makers. So and that so yeah, so I will link to that down below. It is a unique construction, but very fun. This is one of the projects I made when I had my flare up in November. This is the test knit that I did. So
Nice.
I wanted to give that a little airtime. And then
Well, I think you were telling me, but I didn't know what the test knit was.
yeah, I wasn't real chatty. Oh, my boss bought me 7 balls of cashmere yarn for
I'm
Christmas.
over the moon. As the non-employee of the month.
I know, right? He was so cute. He said it was like a few days ago he brought it to me and he's like, I'm really sorry your Christmas present is late. I'm like, you didn't have to give me a Christmas present here. I get a bonus, so I was good.
Let Gary
And
know that I will work for yarn.
so he had something fall off my lap. I want to show you next. So he did some research and he found that cashmere yarn is a good yarn, and I think he'd asked me something about it, but I don't remember. I'll talk to you about yarn any day of the week, and I don't think anything of it. So
Right.
he goes, I looked it up. and it's said that that's enough to make a sweater. He said, but that didn't look quite as big as I thought. And there'll definitely be enough to make a sweater. And right now, the sweater I have my eye on is JP Knits. She is releasing a pattern in March, and
Okay.
this might be it. I'm not sure. If something else catches my eye beforehand, it's a nice, pretty cream color, and I kind of want it to be like a sweater that I could wear all year round, because I do wear sweaters all year round, as long as it's like a short sleeve or maybe a 3/4
Right.
sleeve or something. Because I don't have, calculation wise, I have about 1,250 yards, but like, so that's not like a lot, but it's enough to make a sweater. So I'm just trying to figure what I want to do.
Don't mind
And
me. I
then,
just dropped all the yarn.
oh gosh. And so these cords are really neat. I'm working on a couple sweaters, and what is really hard when you are making a sweater in one piece is trying it on without dropping the stitches off the needles and hooking a bunch of interchangeables together. Now I got the black one, so it's probably not the best to like show you, but it's
I can see it pretty good.
the knitting barber is what it is.
Oh.
I picked these up when I picked up my needles at For You in Oberlin, so you can get them online. You can probably get them at your local yarn shop, but it's just like a tube. It's like a really long tube. And I actually have some on a sweater right now. I've been knitting on it forever, that
Put that
Parks and
on.
Rec pullover. So, oh yeah, and there's like a bunch of them that come in there, and so you slide it onto your needles, and then you can pull, like, so you can open up the project, so you can see exactly what it is, and you're not going to pull the stitches off, because this thing, like, I can show you with, so you would just take the needle here, and you just, oops, it's a lot harder there, and you just slide it on, and then it stays. I mean, I'm tugging on it. So you have to like kind of grab it from, you really have to pull it back down. So I have it on my one sweater that I've been working on, because I was never able to get an accurate measurement of it, because it's on like size 36-inch needles, and it's like kind of
That's
scrunched in
genius.
there. What?
That is
Isn't that
genius.
genius? Yes. So I highly, highly recommend. I will put a link down below. I'll find them online. Actually, I will show you. And so, yeah, so it's nice, because then you can also use them as stoppers for your stuff too, because that's what I'm using it for on the other one, because I don't want to drop. But yeah, so you have this. So yeah.
Yep. I need those.
So
I
yeah.
mean,
So
provided I finished knitting anything or got as far as needing to look at something.
you just definitely need those.
Dog,
So
don't even do it.
she's like, oh, is it time for me to join the podcast again?
No, it is not.
Let's see here.
No.
All right. I think we talked about the Ravelry group. If you need help finding the Ravelry group, I think it's Stitching the Miles Together is the name of it. It might be
Go to
podcast.
group on Ravelry and type in Stitching the Miles Together.
Cool. And we can also probably put a link down below if you'd like to join us there. Remember, update your wish list. Gosh, I couldn't even remember.
Oh my gosh, yes. Update your Ravelry wish list if you have a pattern that you would really like to knit in 2023. Yeah, we may be gifting.
Right.
You never know.
And then speaking of gifting, the podcast Keep Calm and Carry On, Keep Calm and Carry Yarns, the Knit or Crochet podcast, Allison and Vivian. I think I told you about them before, Vivian. So they're doing the archive knit along that starts, I think, in February, and that goes like through most of the year. And if you've had something in your favorites or on your wish list for like the 3 years or more, like the pattern is 3 years or older, then like it's encouraging you to go back to things that maybe you liked when you first started the craft. Although for me, that would be like 30 years ago. And I do have some of those things that I still have not worked on. Like when I joined Ravelry, I remember when Ravelry was new and I joined, and it was, oh my gosh, I could probably look up what my Ravelry number is. It's very low. Like there's still projects on there. So I'm thinking about joining that knit along, and that might be where that sweater yarn goes. I'm not really sure, but they're hosting the archive knit along or create along or whatever. I'm not sure because she crochets, one knits. So I don't know what's called the knit along, but
like they're us.
Make along. They are us. I think it's the archive make along. I'll put a link to that down too. It's a really fun. I love podcasts. I think that's what I do in my free time mostly is watch podcasts. So
I listen to
I
them mostly, but yeah.
I always love, and I love creating things with other people. It's fun. Uh-oh, what's going on?
Just
Are you
dropping
dropping your?
yarn.
Okay.
Deal. Nothing to see here.
Now, if you liked our chaos today,
Uh-huh. Yep.
please go ahead and like this podcast and also subscribe. You don't have to have notifications turned on, but with us not going live right now, you never know when it is that we are going
Yeah, you never
to
know
be
when
dropping
a
a new episode.
pop up.
Right. Our next episode is tentatively set for the 25th of, or the 26th of January. But that is subject to change because my daughter's very pregnant. So
Yes. We're working
I
on
don't
a
think
timeline here.
we're definitely working on a pregnant timeline. She's hopeful that he is not going to be born that day though, because she does not really want to share her day with her son.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she shared her day with her grandpa and she was very sad when, and I told her, well, maybe, it'll be like her grandpa is sending her something to brighten up her day because like my grandma passed away on December 9th and that was when Alexis was born like 3 years later. So I always say that my grandma decided she wanted me to brighten up December 9th by sending me Alexis on it.
Now, see, I like that. That's a
Right?
great way to look at it.
I'm just looking to make sure we have covered everything that we wanted to cover today. We have some really great things coming for you. Probably next podcast, we'll have some really fun announcements. So,
And hopefully a new website.
yes. And hopefully the starts of our blankets. Remember, and if not, it's really okay. But remember to, if you've already started your temperature project for this year, please feel free to use us, to tag us in the project. We also have an Instagram, Stitching the Miles Together, where we share like upcoming episodes and when we post stuff new and
You
everything.
can definitely talk to Heather there.
Yes, you definitely can talk to, you can talk to me on Instagram all day long.
Yeah. I mean, yes, you absolutely can. That's where she's at. I get so many notifications. Heather spins a yarn, tagged you in a post. Stitching the Miles Together tagged you in a post, and I'm like, Heather's awake again is what I usually because they're usually early in the morning for me.
Well, I have my set stuff that I do every single day, and so if it's a podcast day or day that we're doing stuff together, I always tag you. So you could tell when I've posted stuff. So, but I give myself breaks, and a lot of times my breaks include Instagram because it's a lot easier to do that at work. So I have been sharing my my fact of the day boards on Instagram and my stories, and I had someone comment today that they were really glad that I was doing that.
I know people have missed it on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I really hope Zuckerberg gets his head out of his ass. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right. It's 1 quarter closer to me coming to visit you in Alaska.
Hell yeah, it is.
All right. Well, with that, I think we're going to wrap up. So remember to look for the Stitching the Miles Together website to be live soon. But until then, you can check us out at heatherspinsyarn.com or knowitallnikki.com. And if you need any kind of professional creative help, you can check Nichole out at nlscreative.com.
Yes. I will work for yarn, sort of.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. It's probably going to go to buy yarn, but no, it's not. I did bills to pay.
Thanks so much for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Bye.